Hello and welcome back to Walking the 5D Path. Today I have a sort of short video which is a grouping of spiritual guidance that I've received whilst working on the spiritual planes and talking with spirit guides, and I'm going to be doing a lot of videos like this as we progress, where I may specifically go and ask for guidance, general guidance from the spirit world, and then pass it on to yourselves. And I think that might build up into quite a good collection that people can kind of go to as a baseline for what's right and wrong and on their journey. Now these one of these was a direct channeled message to myself, and another, the other two actually came in other people's readings within the family, and they won't mind me sharing because they're not personal, they're sort of universal advice. Now, the first one I want to talk about is from a lovely spirit guide called Antoninus, and he had come through with some advice for someone within my family, and it was an interesting insight because in the message he showed me on his wrist that he was wearing, you know, one of these, it looks like a friendship bracelet. Is made of sort of thread or embroidery thread, thick coloured thread. I think it was red, and he showed me it was round and round and round his wrist, and he pulled it off and he was showing me it, and it had all these little knots tied in it, and the knots were different colours and they were different sizes, and they were all spaced at different points all along this very long thread. Oh, I'm getting hackles talking about this. These knots were key points in this person's life where things should have been happening in their world, and Antoninus was their personal spirit guide, is their personal spirit guide, and his job was to make sure, you know, that this person was on time, on track, where they should be. And the way he did this, he showed me it in the plainest form, was that the carrot or the stick. So Antoninus is a spirit guide. You have a spirit guide. The spirit guide, in broad terms, has a record of your life plan with all the different highlights to it at key times. And their job is to oversee your life and to prompt you in the best way they can to fulfill these different agreements that you had set out to do in your life. And I thought it was a really crystal clear way of showing us, you know, how that system works, how it's the guide's job to use whatever tools they can to prompt you to act and take certain steps at certain times in your life. And they will either they will attempt to get you to do it by enticing you with maybe your passion, or making something really exciting, or making it look like a positive thing, you know, giving you some kind of prompt that would look very rewarding to you at this, where you're at your life. But if you're one of these people and you just won't take the step, no matter how much they dangle it in front of you, if you're just hesitant, then they will have to use something more forceful, and they can push and prod you along that road. So what I'd say to you is, if you're feeling the strong pull to take certain action at any time along your path, try and go when it's a pleasant, inspiring sort of step for you, and not when you feel you have absolutely no choice and you know, it's an unpleasant step for you to take. I've tried both, and I think I know the ones I prefer. Act in the first, when you get the first glimmers of it, when you get the first warnings. Trust your gut instincts and take those steps, make those choices, and you know, you will be keeping your spirit guide happy, because you'll be passing along those little knots to the end of your life path, and there'll be 3 cheers for you. Okay, the second imagery I received in a different reading was that of a sword being forged. Now you're the sword, and you start out being this base sort of metal, this clumsy big lump of metal, you know, when you're just young on your journey. And what the spirit world are doing is they are pushing you into the fire, and it's burning you and heating you up, and then they're pulling you out and they're belting you with a hammer, and it's most unpleasant, and then they're putting you into the fire again and heating you up and belting you with the hammer over and over and over as you progress through that life lesson. And although at the time it's going to feel very challenging indeed, painful, difficult, awful, something you look back and you think, God, I wish I'd never experienced that. That was truly awful. At the end of it, you will find that you have become this beautiful tempered steel sword with the very fine edges, and it really something that's beautifully crafted and strong and you know, precious. You've turned into sort of base metal into this precious metal, and you know, when you look at it from that perspective, it might help you in coping with difficulties in your life. If it feels that you've been going through one of these times when they have you pushed into the fire and then hammering you out, just go with it. Okay, there's a point to it, a purpose, and at the end of it you will be strong, stronger than you've been, and you will see the value of why you had to go through that process. The final thing I want to end with is a personal experience of mine. It was a number of years ago. I was in a bad relationship. I was deeply unhappy, and I just didn't know what to do. It seemed like I was mulling things over and over and over and over in my head. And one night I was lying awake, the wee hours of the morning, having conversations with this person, considering all my different options, trying to figure out what on earth was the right choice to make, because it wasn't just myself involved. And you know, that these times in the night, you're kind of closer to your guides. I think there's less distractions about, and I could sense that there was a guide. One of my guides was there, I don't know who. And so I was saying to them, what should I do? Can you tell me, please? Well, what should I do? Deeply unhappy, going through real troubled times. And straight away there came this, it's like a little poem. It came exactly as you read it, just into my head, and it was so helpful to me, and so clearly formed. I just wrote it straight down, and I thought I'd pass it on to you, because I think it can be very insightful and helpful in a lot of different situations. It helped me that night. So I'm going to read it to you, but I'll need to read it because I don't know it off by heart. So I was asking, what should I do? I didn't know what to do, as many of you have been in that situation. And the message came back to me. If on life's journey you choose to stand still, moving neither left nor right, nor one step forward, then know that all around you the beautiful souls continue their beautiful dance. And like the pictures made by the colourful beads of a kaleidoscope, they will fall where they may, changing the pictures of your life even as you stand still. Such energy around me reading that to you. The message in it is simple. When you don't know what to do, sometimes it's okay to just not do anything and wait and see what other people do. Nothing stays the same. Even if you're not taking steps and moving, all the other pieces in your life are still shifting and moving about, and your path may become clearer in time. That is what happened to me, and that message did help me at that time. I felt an overwhelming sense of peace, that the pressure I was putting on myself to take action, you know, to make a decision, to do something to fix things, I released it, and you know, I was able to go to sleep. And the next day I thought, okay, it's not all down to myself. I don't have to make all these decisions. I'm going to wait and see how the cards fall. The words help me to understand that sometimes it's okay to just wait and watch and see what the other people involved do. The river of life, this isn't part of the poem, this is just me elaborating. The river of life is never still. Nothing is left unchanged by the tides and the currents. They ebb and flow constantly around you. And if you can't see a clear path from where you are, then just wait and see how the sands settle, and a path will become clearer to you. And when you feel confident and sure about that, then you can move forward with that kind of confidence that you're doing the right thing for you. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to know exactly what to do all the time, and sometimes we don't. So that's okay as well. So just wait and be kind to yourself, because these tests and trials that we go through, they're never easy, and the last thing we need is for you to be hard on yourself as well. So I hope those insights have been helpful to you. It's just a wee quick video passing on some snippets from larger sort of insights and readings that are more personal to people. And as I say, I think I'll attempt to do some wee journeys into the spirit world and actually speaking in more general terms like that, and get some good solid general spiritual advice for how we can be living our lives with less stress and less beating ourselves up about stuff all the time. Okay, so I'll talk to you some more next time. In the meantime, take care and God bless.